Stricken in the dead of night, the juvenile humpback lay stranded on the beach. Locals spotted the mammal just after dusk, half buried in the sand with waves lapping at its sides. Rescue crews from Seaworld mobilised immediately, keeping the whale damp and calm. But they faced the dual dangers of darkness and an outgoing tide.
And if the animal moves or rolls, it could roll on somebody and drown somebody.
So they waited until daybreak when the tide rolled back in. The rescuers used a specially made sling to try and tow the whale out to sea, but on all 3 attempts, the rope snapped under its weight of 15 tonnes.
We moved it a metre and that was all, but then really it was just too much for the ropes.
The rescue operation was postponed until the afternoon high tide. The Seaworld team shading the humpback under tents and keeping it wet as crowds swelled to watch the drama.
We hope that the whale will be okay and his family will be okay.
Marine experts positive about the mammal's condition given its age.
At this point in time, it is in good condition, it's breathing well. We intend to keep it cool and, as I said, monitor its behaviour.
It's about 2 to 3 years old is the estimate from the size of it. So it's probably travelling as an individual. Anyone? Yeah, that's right. So there hasn't been any other animals spotted hanging around outside. So chances are that it actually was travelling on its own. Yeah, it could be that it's a juvenile that wasn't quite aware of what it was doing. It was actually in a bit closer and then the currents have shifted and it got caught up here. Fingers crossed that's what it was, because then that means once it's out, it's actually going to be fine to get everything going. It's very well. What's the biggest whale?
Take us through what the latest developments are.
Hi Davina, well the Seaworld team is setting up once again to try and tow this whale out from the stand. They have just had one unsuccessful attempt moments ago, so now they're trying again. You should be able to see behind me they're laying the ropes out and they're going into the waves to try and attach a special harness to this whale. That harness is attached to a rope that is secured to the Seaworld boat. What they're planning on doing is trying to pull the whale by sheer force out into the sea and help it escape. We did think that it was going to free itself about half an hour to an hour ago, because it managed to get about 20 metres off the sand into the water, but it appears to have been stuck on a sandbank and it's washed back into shore. So it has been a very big day for rescuers. They have been here. Seaworld crews have been here since 6:30 last night. That's when the whale was first discovered. They couldn't attempt any rescues overnight, but they said they were waiting for first light. And as you can see behind me, they're walking into the waves now. They will try and attach that special harness to the wave. It's a very delicate operation. It is very tricky because of the wind that we're seeing and the power of the waves. That whale has been flipping numerous times. Seaworld crew have been going in and trying to keep it steady, but it has been flipping over onto its back at least 3 times now, and that puts them in serious risk because they have to jump back and make sure that they don't get crushed by this big animal. It's an 8-metre long, 2-year-old juvenile whale, and Seaworld says they have no idea why it washed up in the first place. And they are...
This is the red belly that Kendall was telling us about a little bit earlier on. He's about 15, I'm not sure if it's a he or she, sorry I shouldn't say that, but about 15 metres from from the shore, where a very delicate operation has been going on for about 20 hours. A number of experts, and also you can see a lot of crowds there. These are live pictures again on the Gold Coast beach, on Palm Beach, watching and waiting to make sure that it is rescued safely. Now, so far he seems to be stuck in those waves as he makes his way out to sea, but everyone's watching carefully. It is high tide, and you can see that he seems to be swimming against it, so struggling certainly at this point, but we are watching and waiting for the safe return to sea of this juvenile humpback on Palm Beach on the Gold Coast.
Well, Georgie, it's very touch and go here at the moment. As you can see over my right shoulder, the whale is still floundering in the shallows. Now, just moments ago, Seaworld rescuers attempted to push the whale back through the waves once again, but haven't had much luck. It follows an afternoon of dramatic rescue attempts where the whale continually rolled onto its back, putting it at risk of drowning. Now, marine experts do believe it's aged between 2 and 3 years old, and that it was swimming on its own when it beached itself.
What's the latest?
Hello, Bruce, that's right. Well, Seaworld has just told us that they have decided to call off the rescue operation tonight. They say it's simply too dangerous to continue as the light fades. And they have made multiple attempts to try and rescue this whale this afternoon. They were planning on attaching a safety harness to it and then a rope to the Seaworld boat, and it would then tow the whale out to sea. But it failed multiple times because it was simply too dangerous. At one point, we watched as the rescuers were trying to keep the whale steady as the waves were pushing it into shore, and they had to pull each other back and scramble to safety when the whale flipped a number of times, nearly crushing some of them at one point. So it's been quite a hairy situation and touch and go for a while now, but unfortunately this whale is still stuck here at Palm Beach, and it looks like he is in for a long night on the sand tonight, and he has been here for about 24 hours now, so Seaworld is very concerned about his health. He was in a good condition initially, but now as it drags on, they're concerned for his health and also that he's getting increasingly distressed, and they say they don't know why this whale beached itself in the first place.
People who'd been asked to stay out of the water rushed past police and tried to push the whale out to sea, but they didn't succeed.
There's a number of them there at the moment. They've surrounded the whale, trying to push it back out to sea. Incredibly dangerous, incredibly dangerous. Seaworld staff are looking on as they work out what to do, but this whale is being pushed around by the waves, and these onlookers are clinging to it, trying to force it back out to sea. A number of the men don't have shirts on. That looks like they have planned this for a little while. They just broke rank and rushed down there out of nowhere, saying that they were going to try and free the whale themselves. So a very dangerous situation here at the moment, Bruce. Were futile, and Seaworld is very concerned because they say that it actually did more harm than good. The whale had been pointing headfirst out to the water, and they have now turned it around so it's pointing sideways. They've since given up moments ago and walked back to shore, but it has come after multiple failed attempts by Seaworld to try and force this whale out to sea today.
Take the risk, mate. It's your job. You can fucking see enough.
Thanks, Alicia. Good morning again. Let's go back to those rescue efforts on the Gold Coast. They're underway to save a stranded humpback whale. Now, these pictures are coming into our newsroom live from Palm Beach. Seaworld teams have strapped a harness to the mammal, and they're attempting to drag it back out to sea, taking advantage at the moment of the high tide.
Just stop it. Yeah. They tried this hard yesterday morning to a big hour. They had so many chances. It's just pushing her back in. God, how stressful for her. It's been very stressful. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
A juvenile humpback whale, which was beached on the Gold Coast for 36 hours, is finally free this morning after a major rescue operation. 7 News reporter Kendall Gilding is on Palm Beach. Kendall, a great ending to what was a very long saga.
Good morning, Larry and Kylie. It has been an incredible morning down here at Palm Beach. Around an hour ago, that whale, which had been stranded on the beach for around 37 hours, was finally free. The crew from Seaworld had made several attempts this morning. It was the 5th time they'd put that harness around the whale and were pulling it out to sea. We saw other attempts that were very encouraging this morning. They'd made a lot of movement with the whale, but this 5th attempt was the best by far. We saw the whale being pulled into a few waves. It looked like it may lose the harness at one point there, but it was managing to dive under the waves. It went under a couple and then finally looked like it was out in deep enough water. That harness snapped and the whale was swimming freely. The crowd erupted on the beach once they saw that the whale was free. It let off some blows out its blowhole, and it just gave us an idea on the shore of how far out the whale had actually made it. Since then, the Seaworld boats have been following it, just tracking it along the coastline to see how it goes. It's just been an incredible morning. A really great effort from the Seaworld team down here. They've, of course, some of them have stayed on the beach for that entire 36 hours. Other team members taking shifts to go home, but it was a great effort. They're obviously very skilled in this, having rescued some other whales. They've also developed those harnesses specially for whales in this situation where they are beached. So it was an incredible morning. Everyone is very pleased at what's happened. An incredible outcome down here at Palm Beach.